Today, we have to introduce a brand new queen to a queenless hive that when I went to change boxes around because I found carpenter ants, I decided to swap out the whole box. And when I did, I took the box off, put it on the side, put a brand new box down, put all the frames back in it, left the box there overnight. However, I ended up finding a queen with a nice clump of bees around it the next day. But I went back into that hive and the queen was in there. So I'm assuming she was a virgin queen or came from somewhere else. This has been 2 months now. We went away on vacation, came back, went away, came back. I went ahead and put frames of brood with eggs in it, hoping they would make a queen cell and make their own queen. However, it being the fall is not the best time. I threw the dice, didn't play out, although they did make some cells, some super seeder cells, and they weren't successful because I haven't seen a queen come back. Now I have a laying worker in there laying a bunch of drone brood. So in order to stop that and get this colony to survive through the winter, I've been also cross-loading some of the supplies from my other hives and bees down to make them somewhat level across the board. But I have to have a queen in there. So if this doesn't work, and I'll know in 7 days after putting this queen in, if she's laying eggs, we're great. If she's not laying eggs and she's gone, I'm back to ground zero and I need to take that whole hive and cross-level it back over here, distribute all the bees so that I don't lose the bees, and then I'll just pick them back up in the spring. Okay, so what I'm doing is taking 2 frames of brood out of one of my strongest hives, 1 frame of capped brood, and 1 frame that has uncapped brood, no eggs or very little eggs, and I'm going to take and put them down there in the new hive, squish the bee between the 2 frames. But I do have some supers on here that I need to yank. The bees are overwhelming on the top, and I think we're still in the end of a flow. So I'm going to see about taking these frames out of here, recoup some of this honey, and help them downsize. Every time I get in here, I go looking for those little hive beetles, kill them buggers. Just allows me to move in here a little bit easier. Alright, so that's fully, no, that's the same thing. Worked all the way down here, everything's capped but that. So I'm thinking I might hold off, find a little time on the weekend, and then just take both these top boxes right off. Whether they finished it or not. This one, they definitely have.
Now, if it's not capped, they may not be at the right moisture level.
Correct. But I'm also assuming the common sense side of it, and that is, if it doesn't have the right moisture level, and you're a little drier on the other side, it kind of washes. It's like putting hot water in cold water. You got warm water. So I'm going to see. I'm going to test a couple of them out. But there's very little. I mean, you look at what's not capped, it's very little. Man, I could almost just take that one, because this one's fully capped. So let me sure how these are going. That other cooler works better.
Why the dark color?
Different kind of flower, different kind of pollen. Some of them coming your way. It's go a whole lot quicker if I found a queen to get out of this hive. She might be in this top box. I go through this and I don't find her, that's exactly where she's at. Fresh hives. Wait. No, it's growing. Drones. Do my inspection before I close that up too tight. As long as I don't have the queen on here, I'm taking these 2 points. Get a little crazy.
Thought they calmed down.
Not a sound I like to hear, but take them together. Should have cleaned off the wax inside this track. Some propolis actually. So I'm going to put these in here in hopes that they stay where they need to be. Alright, let's hope that's these. Now I'm going to take my queen, leave just enough space. Here's the unveiling. So here's the queen, and these other bees, they're tending to the queen. So we're going to go ahead and take this out very carefully without getting stung, because I'm going to squeeze them against the side. So we're going to also drop them bees in there. And then we want to put this, there's a candy cork in there. I want to go ahead and put that on a little bit of an angle so she can come on out. I'm just going to squeeze it right between these two boxes. There, so she's just low enough to where I can put the other frames on. It won't affect it. She's in that cage. If they let her, wait. Hold on a second. Next 7 days, we can pull that. Yeah, there's a see. Yeah, there's a candy core in there. If they don't let her out, then we can let her out in 7 days. In 7 days.
So a candy core the bees can chew through.
Correct. You want them to. I'll give her places to lay eggs. So I'm kind of doing this systematically when I'm putting these frames back in. I want space for her to lay and resources on the outside. Now I've got frames in here that have a lot of brood or drone brood because I have a laying worker. So they'll actually vacate those. See that? That's all drone. So I have a regular bee making the eggs. They're
So
unfertile.
Drone are produced when the bees lay eggs. They're unfertile and they do hatch and they are drones.
Correct. That's and the only reason that happened is because they've been without a queen for so long that the regular bees hormones kicked in and they started laying eggs.
She's
So
infertile,
they even try to do like a little super seeder cell. So I want to make sure that there's none of those here. Which it's been long enough now that even the regular eggs, she can't lay a fertile egg. So I'm putting this back together. I'm making darn sure I don't have any super seeder cells, or queen cells if you want to call them that. So plenty of space to start laying resources. And since they've been without a queen, they should be pretty accepting. Wow, that's just all beautiful drawn out. Beautiful, look at that. And that bee that was inside my net. If she's out, then at that 7th day, I need to look for eggs. If I find eggs, they're hers. If she's not out in 7 days, then I let her out, and I go ahead and back maybe a few days later, check and look for eggs then. Then we'll know. If I don't see eggs then we go back to square A and we need to take this whole box and move it over. That's trouble. Alright, so we're going to go right to the heart of it. Hopefully we don't lose the queen in the middle. That's still brooding. Okay. So this hive here was actually an undeliberate split. I was messing with my hives one day, decided to change out boxes because I noticed some bugs because I had to relocate that hive from somewhere else to here. And when I did, I noticed the bugs, so I swapped boxes. When I swapped boxes, I took that box, laid it out front, let the rest of the bees go back to their home. So I went ahead, continued my inspections, did my thing, came out the next day. Come to find out, there was a nice big swarm. All on, sorry, looking at trouble, he's swatting himself like he got bee stung, but it's not. Saw a swarm, ended up checking it out, found out the queen was in there. So I went ahead, okay, fine, you're gonna do that. So I stuck her in her own little box. Wasn't sure if that was a virgin queen or if it was a queen from one of the boxes and she just came out. But long story short, she left. Believe she went back to where she came from because I have no other issues with any other boxes, so they're still laying eggs. They tried to make super seeder cells, queen cells, and replace what they don't have. So I kept augmenting with not only food supplies, but also fresh brood, uncapped eggs, just a day or two old, and try to let them recreate their own. Well, because we're coming into the fall, was pretty unlikely I was going to get another queen out of it and be successful her mating. So shorten that up, tried for a few weeks, totally unsuccessful. Thought one more chance, had several queen cells, none of them came back. So I said, let's see what I could do. Went to the bee shop. They happened to have, I asked for opinion, they said they got a queen. Oh, so let me take the queen, let me stick it in there. So it's part of an orange container. They put the food in it, a few bees in there to tend to her. I received them. The next day I went ahead and put the queen in the hive, in between some frames, right in here as a matter of fact, and wasn't supposed to touch that for 7 days. Well, I had to leave 6 days out to go to the farm. Couldn't touch it for about 11 days out. So I started noticing a lot more activity anyway. Had a feeling that they already let her out and they were doing their job. So a lot more active, which is a good sign. So I left, came back, got back on the Sunday, ended up finding out that yes, the queen was in there. And so what I was looking for when I came back here was I needed fresh eggs, because I also had a laying worker, and I had lots of frames of brood. Of drone brood. So this right here should be one of my frames. Yes, and has some cap brood. And you know what? I don't even have my goggles on. There's more cap brood. And I should have put my goggles on because I can barely even see.
You need them?
No, just a spot check. We'll see if I can't find her too.
Is she marked?
Yeah, I did mark her. That's not to say they didn't clean her off. Alright, and I want us, we'll have them jump from frame to frame too, so I didn't want to put that other piece on there. Alright, so what I've got in here is you can actually see lots of larvae in here, uncapped brood. There's capped brood, there's larvae in here, and most likely, if you can actually zoom close enough, I can't see with my eyes, you might be able to see the eggs all on the perimeter of that.
Oh, I see larvae.
Okay, let me look. Sometimes you can tilt it ever so slightly. Yeah, this whole frame is slap full. The center is older and it fans out, and then on the perimeter you'll actually see some actual eggs, and those might be as much as 2 or 3 days old. Okay, I don't see her in there. Yeah, really. Let me use my frame. Wait, I'm not. Really want to take my outside one out, but let's see if I can. Be careful because they're getting a little more agitated. See, I can't tell on these at all if they're just cleaned out or if there's eggs in there. Yeah, I do too.
I don't see any eggs.
There we go. Drone hatching. Alright, got at least a egg.
A egg?
That's what I said. Individual. I didn't go looking for any more, but I saw at least the one on the perimeter. She's got that thing slap full. Their inspection. There she is. Right here.